Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel the Univ ScienTheta. As we have discussed in the previous video, this marks the beginning of our journey into the series exploring the world of integrated circuits. From the title, you might have already guessed today's topic, Moore's Law. If you are into the field of integrated circuits, you've likely come across this term at some point. But even if you haven't, don't worry. We'll break it down and understand it in the best way possible. Now, there are two ways we can dive into the topic. Either by first understanding what Moore's law states and then exploring why it was formulated, or by reversing the order. Instead of the usual approach, let's take the second route. Not just to be different, but because it will help us build a better intuition and deeper clarity. Would you believe me if I told you that 52 years ago there were no cellular phones? That 33 years ago smartphones didn't even exist? Now think about this. 25 years ago, USB flash drives weren't around, and just 17 years ago the first iPhone was launched. Today, we all carry powerful computing devices in our pockets, thinner and faster than ever before. Did you ever notice how rapidly technology has scaled down in size and improved in performance? Right, the pace of technological evolution has been tremendously amazing. It all adapted as required, meeting industry demands and setting new standards. But do you think such rapid progress could happen without any guiding principle? Of course, this wasn't just any magic. It took immense human effort, with scientists researching, engineers designing and testing, business models evolving, and industries working tirelessly to manufacture the necessary equipment. Yet, even with all this hard work, a clear direction was really necessary to ensure that progress is consistent and is predictable. Imagine an institution with no clear goals or deadlines. Yes, things might have still get done, but wouldn't it be far more productive with well-defined targets and proper regulations? Humans need direction and inspiration to innovate, and organizations, especially in tech industry, move forward when they have a roadmap. And this is where Moore's law comes into the picture. Guess what's more fascinating? When Gordon Moore published his 1965 journal article, he never proposed it as a law. In fact, he was merely making an observation about the trend in semiconductor advancements. It wasn't until 1975, after some modifications, that Professor Carver Mead coined the term Moore's Law, turning it into the most widely accepted goal for the semiconductor industry back then. Before I talk about Moore's law, what it exactly states, let's get to know about two important figures who shaped the revolution, Gordon Moore and Robert Dennard. Gordon Moore, born in 1929 in San Francisco, California, was a visionary scientist. In 1965, he was the director of R&D at Fairchild Semiconductor and later co-founded the world's renowned Intel Corporation, even serving as its CEO from 1979 to 1987. Robert Dennard, born in 1932 in Terrell, Texas, was another key figure in semiconductor history. Dennard's law, also known as MOSFET scaling and DRAM dynamic random access memory, has been the technologies that revolutionized computing. Moore's law is described as the observation that the number of transistors on an integrated circuit IC doubles approximately every 2 years, leading to exponential growth in computing power. This is what we commonly hear, but in reality, Moore's law has undergone several modifications and is often misunderstood. Rather than being a fixed law of physics, Moore's law is actually a fluid idea, evolving over time. It's not any fundamental scientific principle, but rather an empirical relationship, more of an economic law. It describes an exponential curve quantifying the gains from experience in production. In the semicon industry, it has been used for long term planning and setting research and development targets, ensuring steady technological progress. When Gordon Moore first introduced this idea in 1965, he predicted that within a decade it would be possible to fit as many as 65,000 components on a single quarter-inch silicon chip. Based on extrapolation, he initially told that the transistor count would double every year for the next 10 years. But in 1975, at an IEEE conference, he reviewed his prediction, telling that transistor scaling would continue doubling annually until 1980, after which the rate would slow down to doubling approximately every 2 years, considering various factors. Moore's law has been one of the most influential developments in semiconductor technology, such as making progress from vacuum tubes to transistors. This continuous miniaturization of devices has led to more powerful and efficient electronics, improving computing power and impacting healthcare, finance, and communication. But there has been many misconceptions about Moore's law. Like some people mistakenly believe that it predicts that computing power doubles every 18 months. This was actually a separate prediction by Moore's colleague David House. Also, the term Moore's law is sometimes confused with Murphy's law due to similar sounding, about which you might have heard in the movie Interstellar. And more interestingly, Moore's law is completely opposite of Murphy's law. Instead of things breaking down, everything keeps getting better and better. There are two kinds of people when it comes to Moore's law: those who believe that it is dead, and those who argue that it simply needs to be redefined to keep going. But instead of taking sides, let's take a step back and understand the challenges and limitations that have made Moore's law difficult to sustain. Why can't we continue at the same exponential pace? Why is this the right time to redefine Moore's law? We'll also explore Dennard scaling, the future outlook of semiconductor advancements, and the possible alternative shaping the next era of computing and devices. But as you can see, the topic is very vast and there's so much to uncover and understand. We'll continue it in the next week. As the famous physicist Niels Bohr said, prediction is very difficult, especially if it's about the future. And Moore's law is no exception of it. It has evolved, adapted, and continues to challenge our expectations. In the next video, we'll dive deeper into the part 2 of Moore's law. So stay tuned, and if you find this series interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next one.